In 48 hours, something will happen that has not happened in this precise configuration in your lifetime. Not one event, not two, three. On August 12, 2026, a total solar eclipse, a new moon, and a 6-planet alignment will occur simultaneously. The same day, the same sky, the same 24 hours that you are currently living toward, whether you are aware of it or not. Astronomers have confirmed it. The calculations are precise to the second. NASA has mapped the eclipse path. The planetary positions are fixed by orbital mechanics that have been running since before the first human looked up and understood that the sky was not random. This is not a spiritual claim.
This is not a prediction.
This is a fact confirmed by every observatory on Earth. The question is not whether August 12 will be extraordinary. The question is whether you will be conscious when it
arrives, because there are two
ways to live through a convergence of this magnitude. The way of the person who sees a solar eclipse as a photo opportunity, a new moon as a date on a calendar, and a planetary alignment as an astronomy trivia fact. And the way of the person who understands that when 3 cycles, the cycle of the sun, the cycle of the moon, and the cycle of the 6 planets, arrive at a point of simultaneous alignment, the field that surrounds and permeates every living system on Earth is doing something it almost never does. It is becoming coherent, and a coherent field does not pass through you without leaving a mark. The mark it leaves depends entirely on what you bring to it. You have 48 hours. Let the numbers land before the meaning is given to them. 6 planets in
alignment: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus.
6 of the 8 planets in our solar system arranging themselves in a visible arc across the sky. The last time a 6-planet alignment coincided with a total solar eclipse was not in your parents' lifetime, not in your grandparents' lifetime. The orbital mechanics that produce this specific configuration require a convergence of cycles so precisely timed that astronomers who track these events describe this date with language they reserve for the genuinely rare. At the same moment, the moon passes directly between the Earth and the sun, blocking the light of the star that has sustained all life on this planet for 4.5 billion years. All the other planets will be positioned in an arc that ancient astronomers called the River of Heaven, a line drawn across the sky, connecting worlds that orbit the same star from distances so vast that light itself takes hours to cross them. And the moon, at this exact moment, will be at new moon, its dark face toward Earth, its lit face toward the sun, invisible to the naked eye, except in the moments of totality when the corona reveals itself and the sky goes dark in the middle of the day. 3 cycles, 3 astronomical events. 1 convergence point are August 12th, 2026 in 48 hours. If this frequency is reaching you now, if something in you recognized the weight of those numbers before the mind had time to explain it, subscribe now.
Not as a reflex.
As a declaration that you are done being unconscious through the moments that matter. The ancient
ones did not experience planetary alignments as decoration. They
built their entire civilizational understanding of time,
agriculture, medicine, sacred architecture,
and inner life around the movements of the planets.
Not because they were primitive,
because they were paying attention in a way that the noise of the modern world has made almost impossible. In the cosmology of Kemet, ancient Egypt, each planet was not merely a rock orbiting a star.
Each was a frequency,
a specific quality of field energy that interacted with the Earth and with human consciousness in measurable ways. The priests who tracked these movements were not astrologers in the modern entertainment sense. They were frequency engineers. They understood that when multiple planetary fields converged in alignment, the field at Earth's surface changed in ways that affected everything from crop growth to the receptivity of the human nervous system to transformation. They planned their most significant initiations around these windows, not because the planets controlled human destiny, But because a coherent field, a field in which multiple large gravitational and electromagnetic
Influences are moving in the same directional
pattern, there is a field in which the human instrument is more sensitive, more permeable, more available to receive what it normally filters out. Anubis was the guardian of threshold in this system, the keeper of what passes between states. And a planetary alignment during a solar eclipse, during a new moon, is not a threshold in the metaphorical sense. It is a threshold in the literal astronomical sense. The sky itself is doing what Anubis does, holding open the space between what was and what becomes, between the concealed and the revealed, between the frequency you have been running and the frequency that is being made available. For 48 hours this window is approaching. For approximately 2 minutes and 18 seconds on August 12th, it will be fully open. What passes through a fully open window depends on what is standing before it. Here is what the science confirms about what happens to human biology during this kind of convergence. During a total solar eclipse, the electromagnetic field of the Earth shifts measurably. Geomagnetic instruments record anomalies during totality that do not fit normal daily patterns. The ionosphere changes. The temperature drops suddenly and directly. The pineal gland, responding to sudden darkness it was not expecting, begins producing melatonin, shifting the brain from beta frequency toward alpha and theta, the slower wave states associated with deeper receptivity and non-ordinary awareness. This happens in everyone in the path of totality.
in everyone in the broader field of the eclipse.
It happens whether they are aware of it or not. During a new moon, the gravitational relationship between Earth and Moon produces a specific tidal configuration, not only in the oceans, but in the electromagnetic fluid of the human body, which is 70% water and responds to gravitational influence the way all water responds. The new moon is the moment of maximum gravitational pull and minimum visible light, the deepest dark of the lunar cycle, the moment that ancient traditions across every culture identified as the optimal time for planting seeds, setting intentions, beginning new cycles, not because of superstition, because of measurable biological response to gravitational and electromagnetic influence. And during a 6-planet alignment, the combined gravitational influences of 6 large bodies in our solar system create a specific pattern of force that acts on the Earth from multiple directions simultaneously. This is not a gentle nudge. These are planets, bodies of mass so large that their gravitational influence is felt across hundreds of millions of kilometers of space. When all 3 of these events occur simultaneously, the eclipse altering the electromagnetic field, the new moon amplifying the gravitational pull, the 6 planets creating a coherent multi-directional force pattern, the field in which every human being is embedded is doing
something it almost never does. All 3 influences pointing in the same direction at the same
moment on August 12th in 48 hours.
You have felt something building.
Long before you found this message, a quality of pressure in the weeks and days leading to this date that has no single clean explanation.
A restlessness.
A sense that certain things that used to feel stable are becoming uncertain. A sharpening of the question that has been quietly asking itself in the background of your daily life. The question about what is actually true for you, beneath everything you have been performing, beneath everything you have been maintaining, beneath the version of yourself that you have been presenting to a world that seems to require a specific shape from you. That question is not your anxiety. That question is you. The part of you that operates below the noise, that responds to incoming frequency before the mind has language for it, that has been sensing the approach of August 12th the way animals sense the approach of weather. The field has been building toward this convergence, and the human nervous system, which evolved in relationship with this field, which is sensitive to changes in the electromagnetic environment that instruments have only recently become sophisticated enough to detect. Your nervous system has been responding to what is coming, the disrupted sleep, The sudden clarity followed by confusion, the memories surfacing unexpectedly, the relationships pressing themselves forward for examination, the decisions you have been orbiting without landing. This is the pre-convergence field activating. What needs to be brought to the threshold before the window opens? You
are not imagining it. You are not being dramatic. You are in the 48 hours before the most electromagnetically
significant astronomical convergence of this decade, and your
field is already responding. The only question is
whether you will be conscious of what is moving through you, or whether August 12 will pass through you the way it passes through everyone who is not yet awake to what the sky is doing. Breathe here deliberately once, not as instruction,
as reminder that you have a body,
that the body is in a field, that the field is changing. The changing fields affect living systems, that you are a living system. Feel the weight of the body wherever it is resting right now. Feel the aliveness in the hands, the subtle warmth, the pulse that has been running without interruption since before you had a thought about any of this. That pulse is your participation in the field. It has never stopped. It will not stop on August 12th. But what happens to it? What quality of signal it carries? What frequency it broadcasts into the field around you? What it receives and what it transmits in those hours when the sky does what it is about to do? That depends on the quality of your preparation and the quality of your presence. In these 48 hours, the only preparation that matters is this: bring honest attention to what you are carrying, not to fix it, not to resolve it before the window opens. The field does not require your completion before offering its alignment. It requires your honesty. What have you been pretending is not there? What have you been managing rather than feeling? What decision have you been orbiting rather than landing? What version of yourself have you been defending rather than questioning? Bring that to your honest awareness before August 12th. Simply see it. Name it to yourself without judgment. Because what you have seen clearly, the field can touch. And what the field can touch during a convergence of this magnitude
has a different relationship with transformation than what remains hidden.
Behind the management of appearances, the eclipse will come regardless. The new moon will deepen regardless. The 6 planets will align regardless. The field will become coherent regardless. The variable is you. Write this in the comments if you are receiving this before August 12th. I am bringing myself to the threshold, not as a declaration of readiness, not as a spiritual performance, as a signal from the part of you that has been waiting for permission to stop pretending this moment is ordinary, because it is not ordinary. 3 events.
1 convergence.
48 hours. The ancient ones would have spent weeks preparing for what you have 48 hours to move toward. They understood that a convergence of this magnitude was not a spectacle to observe. It was a threshold to cross, an alignment not only of planets but of the human instrument with the field that the planetary alignment was making coherent. They would have fasted,
entered sacred space,
performed the rituals of release, laying down what was not theirs to carry forward, bringing the accumulated weight of the old cycle to the scales,
allowing Anubis to do what Anubis has always done at moments like this. Weigh not the worth of the human,
not the achievement or the failure or the completion of any spiritual curriculum, the weight of the heart. Is it lighter than a feather?
Not because it is perfect,
but because it is honest, because it is carrying only what is genuinely its own. Because the performance and the borrowed fear and the inherited limitation have been seen clearly enough that they do not need to ride through the threshold into the next cycle. You have 48 hours to bring what you carry to the scales, not to resolve it, to see it. That is the preparation. On August 12th, if you can, find a moment of stillness during the eclipse window. Whether or not you are in the path of totality, The field shift is global. The coherence is not limited to the 294-kilometer-wide path of the shadow. It radiates, it propagates, it affects the electromagnetic environment of the entire planet, with maximum intensity in the path of totality and measurable influence everywhere the Earth's field reaches, which is everywhere. In that moment of stillness, eyes closed or soft attention turned inward, feel for what is different.
Not manufactured,
Not performed. What is actually different in the quality of the field around you and within you, because something will be different. The eclipse will make it different. The new moon will make it different. The 6 planets will make it different. And if you have brought honest attention to what you are carrying in the 48 hours before, if you have done the small, interior, invisible work of seeing clearly, you will be standing at the threshold with a heart that is lighter than you.
expected lighter, because honesty is always lighter than
Management lighter, because what is seen clearly does not need to be carried with the additional weight of the effort required to keep it.
hidden. Lighter, because the feather
Of Mart is not measuring your achievement, it is measuring your truth, and your truth, the one beneath everything you have performed and protected and presented, what is lighter than you.
have been allowing yourself to know.
3 events. One day. The total solar eclipse begins crossing Greenland at 17 hours 12 minutes universal time on August 12th. It reaches maximum totality over the Atlantic at 17 hours 47 minutes. It touches northern Spain before lifting from the Earth's surface and moving back into space. 2 minutes and 18 seconds of totality at maximum. The new moon occurs at 17 hours 37 minutes, universal time, within minutes of maximum totality, the deepest dark of the lunar cycle at the precise moment the sun is blocked by the moon at the precise moment the 6 planets are in alignment. This specific combination of timing, eclipse totality, occurring within minutes of new moon at its exact phase, with planetary alignment simultaneously, is what makes August 12, 2026 a date that no almanac, no astronomical table, no recorded history of the sky contains in quite this form. It is happening once, in 48 hours. Anubis has held the scales for every threshold crossing since the ancient ones first understood that passages require guardians. Every solar eclipse in the long Saros cycle, every new moon that marked the beginning of a new cycle, every planetary alignment that created a coherent field in which the human instrument could receive what it normally filtered out. He is holding the scales now, not as a religious claim, as the embodiment of what every genuine threshold requires, a moment of measurement, a moment of honest seeing, a moment in which what you are carrying is weighed against what you actually are, and the discovery, almost always surprising, that what you actually are is lighter than what you have been carrying would suggest. Bring yourself to the threshold. 48 hours, 3 cycles converging 1.
Window, the scales are ready, the feather is
Waiting, and Anubis has never, in all the cycles that have moved through all the thresholds since the first human looked up and
felt the sky looking
back, turned away a heart that arrived honestly.